No, just go.
Start. Yeah. I'm Forrest North.
Yeah.
One of the founders of TELO trucks. This is my fourth startup. I started an electric motorcycle company, started an app company called PlugShare, and a scooter company. So this is the fourth one. I was at Tesla in the early days when there was about 30 people, so that was a startup at the time. And to encourage entrepreneurs, I would say really starting. Like that is the biggest hurdle for the general population. Like if you think you want to create something that doesn't exist, just starting to
Why do you think it's difficult?
Is the most difficult thing for most people, because most people don't do it. 99% of people have ideas and just will never do anything with them.
Is it difficult because of the resistance or your own internal resistance of everything?
I think it's internal. It's people's fear of failure and insecurity, and just putting yourself out there, and people are going to give you all sorts of, and I can tell you this for sure, investors are going to tell you all sorts of crazy stuff about you that is maybe true or maybe not, but it's a personal growing experience that is intense, and so it's not just about making a company, it's about growing as a person as well, and so that can be scary.
And how did you overcome these fears? What was the driving force? Because you obviously was shadowed by the figure like Elon Musk and everyone else, but you still persisted, and here you go. So what is like, some other people supported you, or just internal drive?
Yeah, I was entrepreneurial from an early age. I think I was an only child, so I think it kind of helps. Like I always had to make things happen, right? So and I had a single mom. I was a latchkey kid, so if I was going to do anything, I had to do it myself. And so I didn't have money, so I would go and I started picking berries when I was a kid and selling them to restaurants.
Oh, really?
I mowed lawns.
How old was you at that time?
I started working when I was, I think summer of fifth grade year. So maybe 11 or 12. Fifth or sixth grade, I can't remember exactly.
So you're naturally born entrepreneur. So you was drive to that by just instincts, not because
necessity. So
necessity.
I was out in the country, and I wanted money, and the only way to make money is to do something.
Necessity is the mother of invention.
It is the mother of invention, exactly. So,
but you invented that truck not because of the necessity, because of something else.
Yeah. So then I also really believed in alternative energy, alternative housing, and alternative fuel. So I was very into all of that. I was into straw bale houses, all sorts of ways to just save the planet. So just how do we have a less of a carbon sink? And because we've known about CO2 since the 80s, right?
Absolutely.
So when I was growing up, we knew about it, and in my family it was important. And then the rest of the world, the rest of America at least, took a little while, I think, to catch up. But so I was doing electric vehicles in high school. I made a solar car, a radio-controlled solar car. Then when I went to school, I worked on the solar car at Stanford. And then that team really turned into Tesla. When I graduated, they were crushing all of the electric cars. So I did biotech for a little while. And then when my friends were starting Tesla, I joined very early on. And that made me realize, okay, this is going to happen. This is actually real. This is going to happen. And so I thought, okay, vehicles are all going to get made. Automakers are they're going to copy Tesla, and we're going to have EVs everywhere. So I better work on charging and other parts of the landscape. So I started PlugShare to help people find charging stations, and I never would have conceived that 20 years later I would be starting an electric vehicle company, because there just aren't enough EVs.
So you was not playing, you was just going from one objective which you see ahead of you to another one, and then you progress and you feel yourself that you can do more and more. That's your evolution as an entrepreneur. Is it?
Yeah, always trying to figure out how to kind of be on the right part of the wave. It's kind of like catching a wave, and also often have been somewhat late, or early. It's a lot about timing on what's successful or not. But I think you have to keep pushing forward on the things that you want to see in the world. So, I want to see more electric vehicles. I want to see small trucks. If they don't exist, I'm going to make them exist. And if people don't have an option, they're going to buy the big truck because it's the only option right now. And we hear that from a lot of people. They're like, I'd love to buy a small truck, but there's no small truck. And I need a truck. So they get a big truck, and then they just deal with it's hard to park. It costs more, takes more fuel, all these things. So I want to put this out there, because I think people will like it and use it, and it needs to be there, right? It's not there right now.
And as an entrepreneur, if you rank what is the most important quality for entrepreneur, for example, persistence or talent or I don't know, physical
Being able to
strength,
take rejection.
being able to take rejections from everyone, including your.
We took 116 partner meetings at VCs before we got our first term sheet. 116, and that's not abnormal. That's actually on the lower side. So usually entrepreneurs tend to get discouraged after about 20 to 40 people have told them no, that's a terrible idea. You start to think, oh wow, 40 people have said that's a terrible idea. Is that a bad idea? You're not even in the strike zone. Most companies are pitching 200. They're getting 200 no's before they get a yes. And that's a lot of no's, right? They just weigh. They can really weigh on a person.
So how did you get through all that? Because of the team? Because of your character?
Yeah, I think just knowing that, when we were getting discouraged, because I've done it before, I know I kind of had.
Okay, it's experience.
It's
more like going from one node to
It
another.
affected me a lot more in the first startup than the last startup. So the first startup, it was much more emotionally draining. And now it's not. And one of the things that helped is an investor actually told us, they're like, hey, we have this graph, and they had all these points and of how many times people pitched before they got like a yes. And the strike zone is like between 75 and 200 is where most of the point cloud is.
Interesting.
So like you got to just, once you realize that, you're like, oh, okay, it doesn't need to get me down. I just need to turn the crank, right? I don't need to keep changing everything about my pitch or my deck or my product, right? Like, at some point, you have to decide product is where I want it. And sometimes you get enough feedback from investors that, oh, I like your deck, but I'm not interested. Or I like your pitch, but I'm just not interested. And so, okay, pitch is okay. And then you just got to turn the crank. Just start growing the funnel, getting people through. So that's a lot of the kind of slog that entrepreneurs need to go through.
Oh,
that's the hardest part.